Dubai has always been regarded as a land full of innovation and technology, and with the introduction of the World in 2003, a project to create an artificial island that would cost more than $14 billion, a new feather was put to this crown, giving the fact that nothing like this had ever been conceived or attempted before. The shape of this island, which is man-made, now resembles a globe. The project is located close to Dubai and features 3 artificial islands that have already been finished and was planned to become a major tourist attraction, hence why it was the media's go-to for every tourist advertisement imaginable. But even after 10 years since they were completed, the islands have not been settled, and very little construction has taken place there. Today, we will look at why Dubai's $14 billion man-made islands are still empty and abandoned. So, what happened? What halted Dubai's most ambitious project? And is there any hope left for this amazing Dubai icon? Stay tuned. During the height of Dubai's real estate boom at the beginning of the year 2000, it was anticipated that the likelihood of successfully designing and constructing a beachfront site was met with huge optimism. At that moment, most of the land along Dubai's coastline had already been transformed into built-up areas. In less than 20 years, the real estate corporation Nakheel Properties, which the government owns, made significant changes to the shoreline of Dubai. Nakheel Buildings is linked to several high-profile projects around Dubai, including St. Regis Dubai and the Palm. Sand from the Gulf was dredged, transported to the desired location, and stabilized with millions of tons of rocks to build the artificial islands. The World Islands consists of 300 islands, each measuring between 250,000 and 900,000 square feet. The collection as a whole is around 5.4 miles wide. The islands were planned to have both high-density complexes and low-density homes and commercial usage in certain regions. Although the World Islands were intended to be an offshore playground for the elite and wealthy, they did not overwhelmingly affect the wealthy community. Invitations were sent every year to everyone from royalty to movie stars to business tycoons, stating the exclusive chance to own the world. These islands are large enough to be viewed from outer space. It was planned that, at a later stage, it would be expanded with the inclusion of the much larger project known as the Universe. This structure would have exemplified the goals of Dubai, a city that is home to a diverse population of remarkable individuals. To start with, all these projects were being conducted with an incredible amount of confidence. Dubai quickly became a tourist destination, but it was just for the moment. The financial and real estate crisis of 2008 and the decrease in oil prices in 2014 were just the first events that negatively influenced this macro project's feasibility. Since the Emirates' economy was driven mostly by the price of oil, this decline was particularly devastating. The sequence of the following events was complex and complicated, but it can be boiled down to private investors withdrawing from the projects, the developers' million-dollar debts, endless litigations, and construction that was halted with no projected date for it to resume. The problems are still present in modern times. Moreover, the number of homes sold in newly developed areas decreased by 46% during the first quarter of 2018. For this reason, it was necessary to call off the efforts associated with the artificial islands, which resulted in the termination of all mega projects. As a result of the crisis, the vast majority of construction sites swiftly shut down, and because there was less interest in the project overall, the price of the plots started falling at a rapid rate. When Nakheel Properties announced the profits to its investors, the empty islands were completely overlooked. For most of the period, land reclamation was taking place, but it was not even close to completion. The project's scope was cut back and land reclamation was halted. Nearly $15 billion had reportedly already been spent at this time, but only one island development was complete, with the others in varied states of construction. The land reclamation was finally finished in a majority of areas. Moreover, a sizable amount of it had already been sold off individually before the global financial crisis knocked Dubai's real estate sector. On the other hand, the vast majority of the investors are working through their problems at the moment, and as a result, the project as a whole has not progressed any further. Since the first signs of the impending financial crisis, several new projects have been given funding. However, the world has not profited greatly from this, as the majority of investors remain uncertain about the project's potential to make money. After being introduced for the first time 10 years ago, the enormously ambitious concept is unsuitable for today's world. So, what kind of problems or challenges does it have? There must be something that is driving investors out. Concerns ranging from those about the environment to those regarding the continued economic sustainability of this island have been brought up in light of the situation. Another factor is the rising ocean water level, which increases the danger associated with this undertaking. According to a photo that was taken from the International Space Station in February of 2010, the waters of the Persian Gulf were rising and the islands were beginning to disappear. Aside from that, locals of islands like Palm Jumeirah have frequently expressed dissatisfaction with the water quality. This has led to the world being labeled as potentially hazardous investment. The backwater is vital for preventing erosion and hindering the regular tide motions on the islands, which it does by acting as a barrier. However, this creates further environmental concerns because construction causes the water contained within the island to become still and stagnant. Along with this piling up, the hundreds of tons of sand that are on the seabed make the coastal soil unstable, which may cause the natural shoreline to disintegrate. Because of this, the canals that connected the islands were also obstructed with debris. Nakheel denied all of these allegations, and they were ultimately successful in their legal dispute with Penguin Marine, the company that was trying to get out of the contract. According to the data provided by NASA, Palm Jumeirah was also sinking at a pace of 5 millimeters per year. The bulk of the man-made islands is constructed on a base composed of sand and rock. Even though a desert borders Dubai, the artificial islands of the World Project were built using sea sand, which is ideal for this type of architecture since it is more compact. This is because sea sand is denser than desert sand. According to the data that a researcher called Bayina Salahuddin obtained from her environmental investigations, the beaches of Dubai lose between 10,000 and 15,000 cubic meters of sand annually. She claims that the islands disrupted the normal flow of wind and caused tides to rise, which in turn has accelerated the rate at which the land is being eroded. As a direct result of this, marine sediment deposition shifted 40 kilometers in the span of 5 years. She also claims that the development has caused a lot of movement, which has affected marine biodiversity. For instance, the construction has buried oyster beds and caused irreparable harm to the coral that is on the bottom of the sea. And because of all these unfavorable consequences on the surrounding ecosystem, the project cannot be sold. In addition, the media is drawing attention to the predicament migrant workers find themselves in. It is also a factor that contributes to the negative effect overall. But luckily, there is hope. Only a few initiatives are starting to become a reality on these islands. An Austrian real estate company said that they intended to construct several projects on various islands. The project is referred to as the Heart of Europe. This is because its objective is to construct a small duplicate of Europe, complete with luxurious hotels and architecture fashioned like Monaco or Venice. As envisioned by the Kleindienst Group, the Heart of Europe concept will see a limited number of the world's island modified to resemble the continent of Europe, to the point that false meteorological conditions like rain and snow have been manufactured in certain regions. In addition to these hotels, they planned to build a string of European-style food courts and plazas in various locations around the development. It is impossible to know ahead of time if the project, which is currently under construction, will be successful in terms of the economy or not. Every part of the world sees its fair share of development projects that are fraught with peril. Only a handful of them take off, and an even smaller number are successful. Several real estate ventures have proposed relaunching the World Project now that new investors, such as the Philippine company Revolution Precrafted, are on board. Interestingly, Revolution Precrafted has stated that it is willing to invest $3.2 billion in developing luxury residences and a hotel. Fingers crossed that we are about to witness a revolution in the utmost luxury coming to life. I don't know about you guys, but but I wouldn't be in a hurry to buy a piece of land that could be underwater in a few years. What do you think about the chances of the World Project finishing on a happy note? Will it revolutionize most aspects of Dubai? Will it attract more tourists, or will we see marine life in place of residential units in the future? Only time will tell. See you next time.